A dog barked, and the dancers stopped. They went to the man and kissed his hand. "Come, let's pray," the witch said softly. The fisherman wanted to do this, and he followed her. But when he came near the man, he called God's name. When he did this, the witches screamed and went away. A horse came, and the man got on it. He looked at the fisherman sadly, and then disappeared. The witch, with red hair, tried to fly away too, but the fisherman stopped her. "Let me go!" she cried. "You must not say God's name."
"No,"
he answered.
"You are my prisoner. Tell me the secret now."
"What secret?" said the witch. She tried to escape.
"You know,"
he answered. She began to cry and said to the fisherman, "Ask me anything, but not that." He laughed and didn't want to release her. She could not escape, and so she said, "I am as beautiful as the mermaids." And she put her face near his. But he pushed her away and said,
"I will kill you. You must tell me the secret now."
She trembled. "All right," she said. "It is your soul, not mine." She gave him a little knife.
"Why did you give me this knife?"
he asked. She was silent for a moment. She was terrified. Then she said to him, "Our shadow is not the shadow of our bodies. It is the body of our souls. Stand on the beach with your back to the moon. Cut your shadow from your feet. Then you must tell your soul to leave, and it will leave." The young fisherman trembled.
"Is this true?"
he said. He released her and took the knife. Then he walked to the sea. The fisherman's soul then said to him,
"I am your servant. Do not send me away now. Did I do anything bad to you?"
The young fisherman laughed.
"You didn't do anything bad, but I do not need you,"
he answered.
"The world is big. Go where you want, but do not disturb me, because my love is calling me."
His soul called him many times, but he did not listen. He then arrived on the beach and stood on the sand with his back to the moon. White arms came out of the foam, and they asked him to come. His soul said to him,
"Do not send me away without a heart. The world is cruel. Give me your heart."
"How can I love my mermaid without a heart?"
he cried.
"Please,"
said his soul.
"give me your heart. The world is cruel, and I am afraid."
"My heart is with my love now,"
he answered.
"Go away."
"But I also need to love,"
said his soul.
"Go away. I do not need you,"
cried the young fisherman. He took the little knife and cut his shadow from his feet. The shadow stood up in front of him, and it was very similar to the fisherman. The fisherman moved back slowly, and he was afraid.
"Go away,"
he murmured,
"and never come back again."
"No, but we must meet again,"
said the soul. The soul's voice was like a flute.
"How will we meet?"
cried the young fisherman.
"Will you follow me into the sea?"
"Once every year I will come to this place and call you,"
said the soul.
"Perhaps you will need me."
"I do not think I will need you,"
cried the young fisherman.
"but you can call me. I can come here again."
He went into the water, and the tritons played their musical instruments. The little mermaid came to meet him. She put her arms around his neck and kissed him on the mouth. The soul stood on the beach and watched them. And when they disappeared into the sea, the fisherman's soul walked away and cried. The soul's first journey. After a year, the soul came down to the sea and called the young fisherman. He came out of the sea and said,
"Why do you call me?"
The soul answered,
Come nearer. I want to speak to you, because I saw marvelous things.
So he came nearer and sat in the water and listened. The soul said to him,
When I left you, I went towards the east and travelled. Everything wise comes from the east. After 6 days I came to the land of the Tartars. One night I saw a fire in a camp of a company of merchants. I went to them, and the chief of merchants stood up and took his sword.
"Who are you?"
He asked. I am a prince, and I escaped from the Tartars, I replied. He lowered his head as a sign of respect and took my hand. Then we left the country of the Tartars, and we travelled in many strange lands and saw many strange people. I travelled on a camel, next to the chief. There were 40 camels in the caravan and 80 mules. During our journey, we battled with the tribe of the Magadhi. They are born old and grow younger every year, and die when they are little children. We battled with the Lactroi. They think they are the sons of tigers, and they paint their bodies yellow and black. We also battled with the Sibians. They have horses' feet, and they run quicker than horses. In the 4th month, we arrived in the city of Illel. It was night, and we waited for day to come. That morning, we knocked at the gate of the city. The gate was of red bronze, and it had images of sea dragons and dragons with wings. A guard then said to us,
"What do you want?"
We are from the island of Syria, and we have a lot of merchandise to sell, we answered.
"Then wait here until midday,"
he said. At midday, they opened the gates, and we went to the marketplace. After a month in the city of Illel, I became tired of it. I walked in the streets of the city, and came to the garden of the god of the city. The priests in their yellow tunics walked silently in the garden. There was a red house. This was the home of the god. The doors had images of golden animals and peacocks on them. There was a pool of clear water in front of the temple. I sat down near it. One of the priests came to me and stood behind me.
"What do you want?"
He asked me. I want to see the god, I replied.
"The god is hunting in a forest,"
said the priest, and he looked at me strangely. Which forest is he in? Tell me, and I will go there, I answered. He moved his hands on his soft tunic.
"The god is asleep,"
he murmured. Which bed is he in? Tell me, and I will stand near him, I answered.
"The god is at the feast,"
he cried. I will drink bitter or sweet wine with him, I said. He was surprised and accompanied me into the temple. In the first room, I saw an ebony idol on a throne, and it was the size of a man. There was a ruby on its forehead. Its feet were red from the blood of a baby goat. I said to the priest, "Is this the god?"
"This is the god,"
he answered. "This is not the god. Show me the god," I cried, "or I will kill you." I touched his hand, and it became small and dry.
Make my hand better, and I will show you the god,
he cried. So I breathed on his hand, and it became better. He trembled, and accompanied me into the second room. I saw an ivory idol on a lotus of jade, with great emeralds on it. This idol was twice as big as a man. "Is this the god?" I asked him.
This is the god,
he replied. "This is not the god. Show me the god," I cried, "or I will kill you." I touched his eyes, and they became blind.
Please make my eyes better. Then I will show you the god,
he cried. So I breathed on his eyes, and they could see again. The priest trembled and accompanied me into the third room. There was not an idol in it, only a mirror. I said to the priest, "Where is the god?" He answered me,
There is no god, but this is the mirror of wisdom. It reflects all the things in heaven and on earth. But it does not reflect the face of the person if they look into it. So this person can become wise. There are many other mirrors, but they are mirrors of opinion. This is the only mirror of wisdom. When you possess this mirror, you know everything. So, it is a god, and we pray to this god.
I looked into the mirror. The priest didn't lie. Then I did something strange, but it is not important. I placed the mirror in a valley near here. We can walk there in 3 days. Let me enter you again and be your servant, and you will have wisdom.
But the young fisherman laughed.
Love is better than wisdom,
He cried.
and the little mermaid loves me.
No, there is nothing better than wisdom,
Said the soul.
Love is better.
Answered the young fisherman. He went back to the sea, and the soul walked away and cried. The Ring of Riches. After the 2nd year, the soul came down to the sea and called the young fisherman. He came out of the sea and said,
Why do you call me?
The soul answered,
"Come nearer. I want to speak to you, because I saw marvelous things."
So he came nearer and sat in the water and listened. The soul said to him,
When I left you, I went towards the south and travelled. Everything precious comes from the south. I travelled 6 days to the city of Ashtar. I city on the morning of the 7th day. The city is like a bazaar. It is wonderful. Merchants sit on silk carpets. Some of them sell strange perfumes from the islands of the Indian Sea and the oil of red roses. Other merchants sell fantastic jewelry with tiger claws in gold and leopard claws in gold also. The people sell all kinds of fruit: purple figs, yellow melons, white grapes, red gold oranges, and oval lemons of green gold. I saw an elephant. It stopped and began eating the oranges, and the people laughed. You cannot imagine how strange these people are. When they are happy, they buy a bird in a cage. Then they release the bird because they want to be happier. When they are sad, they hit their bodies with thorns because they want to be sadder. On the feast of the new moon, the emperor came out of his palace and went into the mosque to pray. The people covered their faces, but I showed him no form of respect. That night, the guards of the emperor came for me. They accompanied me into the palace. We walked across a great court, and then we entered a beautiful garden. At the end of the garden there was a pavilion. Then the captain of the guard told me to enter. The young emperor was there, on a bed of lion skins, and he held a falcon. A Nubian stood behind him. A large scimitar of steel was on a table next to the bed. When the emperor saw me, he was worried, and said to me,
"What is your name? Don't you know that I am emperor of this city?"
I did not answer him. He indicated the scimitar, and the Nubian took it and hit me with great violence. It did not hurt me. The Nubian was terrified and went away. The emperor tried to kill me with a lance, but he didn't hurt me. He tried to kill me with an arrow, but I stopped it in the air. Then the emperor said to me,
"Why can't I hurt you? Are you a prophet, or the son of a prophet? Please leave my city tonight. You are here now, and I am not its lord."
I answered him, "Give me half of your treasure. Then I will go away." So he took my hand and accompanied me to a large room. He touched one of the walls, and it opened. Then we walked down a corridor. He said a magic word, and a granite door opened. The emperor covered his eyes with his hands to protect them from the light of the jewels there. It was really marvelous inside. There were huge tortoise shells full of pearls, and many other wonderful jewels. Then the emperor said to me,
"This is my house of treasure, and half of it is yours. But you must go tonight. My father the sun must not see this. I cannot kill a man in the city."
I answered him, "The gold and all the precious jewels are yours. I only want your little ring." The emperor frowned.
"It is only a ring of lead,"
he cried.
"and it has no value. Take your half of the treasure and go away from my city."
"No," I answered. "I know that it is really the ring of riches." The emperor trembled and said,
"Take all the treasure and go from my city. You can also have my half of the treasure."
Then I did something strange, but it is not important. What is important is that I put the ring of riches in a cave. You can arrive there in one day. The owner of this ring is richer than all the kings of the world.
But the young fisherman laughed.
"Love is better than riches,"
He cried.
"and the little mermaid loves me."
"No, nothing is better than riches,"
said the soul.
"Love is better,"
answered the young fisherman. He went back to the sea, and the soul walked away and cried.